And good morning, everyone, from Hawaii. This is Peeling the Banana, where we talk about everything from professional sports, Savannah Bananas, mental health, physical health, and everything in between. And I am honored this morning to welcome my mentor, my coach, endurance athlete, former Savannah Banana Coach, total recovery, endurance guru, and everything, all the above. Michael Kowalski, my man, how are you?
Doing great, Breland. Great to be with you. Of course, from the mountains of Waianae to the flatland desert oasis of Mesa, Arizona. It's an honor
That's right.
sharing. Of course, we're here on the world's premier live streaming interactive platform, the No Filter Network.
Yes, thank you to Eric Burns.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you, dude. Is this now the first Stylin' Hawaiian pod?
You are my first guest, second pod. First guest, second pod.
Right.
First pod, I decided to introduce myself and kind of just talk about my story and a little bit of background and my journey with the Savannah Bananas, and that's how it kind of just went, so people can get familiar with the podcast and just trying to get a feel. But I am here about 5 minutes from the shores of Sandy Beach. About a 20-foot walk to jump off my roof right into a marina that goes right into the Pacific Ocean. So, I mean, here we are. One's in a desert. I'm in the middle of nowhere. But, man, I am happy to see you, dude. Where do we begin? Like, I met you, Savannah Bananas. And the first time I met you, you were wearing I don't know, this wig that I thought was it wasn't cornrows, it was like dreadlocks, and I thought you were like this cool guy, and I thought you were trying out for the Bananas when I was doing the tryout, and I didn't know what was going on, and you and Burns were just hyping this whole thing up. You were pretty quiet, but like you had your clipboard and you were, writing names down. And I remember one time I was in the outfield doing drills.
I was actually doodling.
Yeah, I bet you weren't writing down anything.
I was drawing.
Like what? How did you even get involved with Burns in the first place? Like how far does you and Eric Burns go back?
This goes back over a decade, my relationship with the brachiopath himself, Eric Byronace. Most people know him as the former coach of the Savannah Bananas. He also played 6 winters in the Dominican Winter League for the great Licey Tigres. I think, that is his real claim to fame. Also, he did play in the big leagues for a few years, I'm told. But the real athlete in that family is John Gall, his cousin, who, as Burns would say, had a cup of coffee in the big leagues. However, took home a World Series title with the St. Louis Cardinals, took home a medal with Team USA, and still to this day is the all-time Pac-12 hits leader coming out of Stanford. So shout out to the great baseball player in the Byronace family, John Gall. No, but to answer your question, dude, Burnsy and I, probably about 12, 13 years ago, I'm here in Old Town Scottsdale. You're there on that rock, that live volcano.
Yeah.
God bless you guys.
Watch out.
And there
might have a tsunami coming soon.
Wow. I cannot even imagine the energy that surrounds
surfs
you
up
on a volcanic island. And as you all know, it's winter on the North Shore. So that means pipe is firing, triple overhead.
Waimea Bay is coming. We got the Eddie possible. So
no way Bells is bigger than Waimea, bro.
But no shot.
Yeah, to go back to it, dude. I was running an endurance sports store here in Old Town Scottsdale. It was called Triple Sports. We were all things like endurance sports, swimming, biking, running, and it was actually, so a lot of people probably know Old Town Scottsdale. It was on Indian School in Millard. And right next to it was a coffee bean. And if anybody knows Eric Byronace, his burn rate at Starbucks is probably at least over 100 large a year.
You don't want that, Bill.
but I'll give you some advice when it comes to 100 large every year at Starbucks. And this is a direct quote from Eric Byronace. If you continue to spend like a minor leaguer, you're gonna stay a minor leaguer. So get those Starbucks up. You know what I mean?
Get those buck points. Get those barrel bucks.
Came in, and he's all woody woo, and just got out of baseball and wanted to get into endurance sports, and so I'd seen him in passing a few times, and then I'm getting the shop ready, and I was outside just getting shit together, sweeping off the front, commitment to excellence, and I see Burnsy, and I'm sweeping, and as I see him going in the coffee bean, I just go, "Hey, fucking Burnsy!" like that. And I keep sweeping. And him, he's like, "Oh man, what's up, dude?" Comes over, wants to get in a triathlon. I'm like, "Look."
So at this point, has he not like met you, or is this like the first interaction?
Yeah, pretty much our first interaction. I hit him with that fucking Burnsy, and he rolls over, and we just start hitting it off, and I said, "Look, man, you want to get into the endurance sports game? Like, let me know. I've sort of climbed this mountain, and I can help accelerate your learning curve, and let's do it." And so we went out and hit a session, and then we got along really well and had good conversation and good flow through the session, and always you want to surround yourself with people better than you, faster than you, smarter than you, stronger than you, and everything but smarter. Burns was. So, we had complementary skill sets and characteristic traits, and sort of this strong bias towards action. And that one session turned into 2, turned into 10, turned into me reaching out and going, "Yo, dude." He actually came in and spoke to a group of triathletes. I had like an Eric Burns, speaking night out of the shop. And
oh, no way.
And I was hesitating to be like, "Yo, you want to come speak to these guys about your transition, like from here to there?"
Right.
He was like, "Yeah,
professional
fuck yeah, man."
baseball athlete to endurance athlete now, just total different sport.
It's a completely different sport. It's essentially like.
I mean, Burnsy went from Barry Bonds to like Lance Armstrong, like as far as body type.
Right. And I mean, he's a big dude. I think he came out of baseball probably 230 plus, just diesel.
The good roid era.
Yeah, he what?
I said the good old roid era. He was kind of like right after that. He was like right after that. I'm not saying he did it. No, I'm just saying he was during that time.
Yeah, but I mean, this was also a time, like look at the Philadelphia Phillies this year. I mean, right? I think somebody said they look like the team who comes in, does all the amphetamines, drinks all the liquor, fucks all the bitches, beats your ass, and then gets out of town. So
and they take all your women.
There's still some throwback to the past with these guys, but yes, although Burns came from that era, this guy, I mean, hanging out with him for a decade plus is just fucking wired up different. My theory is that, and this is a fact. No steroids ever involved. This guy has a fucking motor and an engine like nobody else.
He doesn't stop.
And mentality. He's got, can't stop, won't stop. He's fucking P. Diddy all day, right? So
grooving and moving.
So my theory is that his father, the late great Jim Burns, may he
Byronace, the late great Byronace,
the great people collector Jim Burns, had an additional testicle attached to Eric at birth. Thus, he needs
extra testosterone.
Sleep. He can drink 10 tequilas a night, sleep 60 minutes, and get up and train and do his thing all day. So I think if anybody's out there has a pregnant wife, you should start thinking about if this is a boy having a third testicle attached to really optimize his energy and his vitality and his ability throughout his life.
If you really want a Hall of Famer, attach that testicle.
Hey, if I'm just saying, like, more juice in the cash and prizes has never hurt a man, as long as they use it in the right way. Burnsy and I end up training together out here in Arizona. Then when he went back to North Lake Tahoe, one of the final years that Ironman Triathlon had a Ironman Lake Tahoe, I hit Burns up maybe 4 months before the race. I sent him a screenshot of the registration, and I said, like essentially you down. And within a few minutes, he's like, fuck yeah, bring your whole thing. So
Send it.
literally, Breland, my family is in Lake Tahoe for Ironman Lake Tahoe. And Alyssa, my wife, my little rock of Gibraltar, my dream maker, is like, hey, does Burns know that we're coming? Like, does he know we're
like
here?
the whole family, right?
Here.
Yeah.
And so we get out to his place, and deep behind the gates in Martis Camp, and literally I hit Burns up. He's on speaker, and he's like, yeah, dude, we're not there. Doors open. Walk in. And Alyssa's like, really? And we show up there, we walk in, it's fucking, guy's got a little castle on the mountain.
Oh, he's in a fort up there.
Yeah, we end up doing Ironman Lake Tahoe. And, I mean, if anybody knows about...
Now, was that your first Ironman, too?
No, that was actually, I don't know, my 7th, I think, at that point. And Ironman Lake Tahoe no longer exists for people who give a shit about people who like to exercise. And then we'll talk about real athletes, too.
Yeah.
That's
another subject.
But what happened was that experience together and the preceding training that we had done really accelerated a relationship that would take you 2 years of going out and having like wings and beer, or going out in a social setting with someone. When you share that experience of, testing the very ends of the human spirit and resiliency and mental fortitude, all of a sudden, if you share that with somebody, your relationship accelerates. And so we've just had so many of these moments, whether it was the first initial Ironman Lake Tahoe, whether it was the 24-hour speed golf Guinness World Record that we broke,
or the triathlon across America.
Yeah, whether it was Western States. So we've just had all of these magical endurance experiences. And then about halfway through all this journey together, we started to have these incredible social experiences. We started to hang out, as friends would. So what started out as an endurance relationship really blossomed into this really fruitful and incredible and really unique, relationship between the two of us. So, yeah, man. I mean, at one point when we did the triathlon across America, his wife, Tara, is in the front seat in a Sprinter van. My wife's in the passenger seat. My daughter, Emma, at the time was 2 years old. My son, Elijah, was almost 5. And then we had Chloe Callie Colton in the back. So
was this 5 years ago, right? This is 5 years ago, 2018?
Yes. So, when you have these kind of moments with people, you get to see the best and worst of
and then, right. And then, like, other than the swimming part, you did everything with them, right? The bike and the run to finish.
Right.
Like, the swimming part, like, you were the mustard man.
Well, so the swim was sort of a unique backstory to that. I was waking up, Breland, for months with like cold sweats about swimming from the McCovey Cove to Oakland.
Right.
I mean, literally, I'd wake up and start thinking about Whitey. Oh fuck, dude! I'd start thinking about like tanker ships, and I'd have palpitations.
What about those fucking sharks? Like, I'm more scared about sharks. I mean, sure. I mean, maybe you might have a ship coming across, or maybe even a random jet ski coming and wiping you out.
Yeah, and look, dude, I got nothing against jet skis. If I drink a Monster right now, I'd be going to halves on a jet ski by 4:00 Mountain Standard Time. But
you're driving out to the lake.
We have this kickoff party in Oakland Coliseum. God bless the Oakland A's. God bless my dear friend Nick Allen, who is a shortstop for the A's. And if you know Nick Allen, you know that he's married to Savannah Allen, but formerly she was Savannah Boone, Brett Boone's daughter.
No way.
She also has a book on Amazon right now called The Art of Adaption.
I need to write that down.
Great book. But anywho, yeah, it was, something that over time really became this unique and special connection. And I'm sure we've shared, these moments that very few two guys ever get to experience. And it wasn't just the endurance sports stuff. It was all the other things around it, all the training, all the preparation, all the, going to the Tucson torture training camp sessions every
Right.
January or February, and Burns would rent a 5,000 square foot house, and it would just be him and I in there for a week.
Dude, he's all in. He's all in all the time.
So yeah.
I mean, like, who? All right. So you guys have done all of this, but like,
Yeah.
Are you willing to say who is the better endurance athlete? When it like if you guys,
Bro,
I mean, it's not a competition, but like, I kind of want to get Burnsy bubbling on this.
Yeah, no, dude, this guy, like, you got to understand. So
I mean, if you watch his Instagram, he's got stories. He's running up in his snow. He's on his footboard at 5:30 a.m. He's got his cup of coffee, and then he's playing pickleball on his wall.
Look, some guys are real big public announcement guys, right? Yeah. Shout out to Captain Reese Hampton, who I got that from Reese actually. I remember him saying at one point, somebody
Reese Hampton, by the way, people, is the center fielder for the Party Animals right now. So if you don't know the Party Animals, you better know Reese Hampton. Stud.
We got a guy there.
He covers. So what the ocean is 75% of the world.
Reese covers the rest.
Reese covers the rest.
But yeah. So, where were we? What were we talking about?
Burnsy just.
Yeah.
I was
the athlete.
I was asking you which one's better.
I got you. So I'm sure everybody knows Eastbound and Down, the great show with the great Kenny Powers.
Great Kenny fucking Powers.
This is how I'm going to describe that or answer your question. So when Kenny Powers gets to the school and he wants to become like the phys ed teacher when he's back in the valley after baseball and he's finding his second mountain. He gets into the school and the principal comes over and he's like, well, Kenny Powers in my school. And he's like, yeah, what's up, man? And he's like,
the nerd with the hottie patati.
I'll have you know, Kenny, you're not the only athlete in the school. I'll actually be completing my first triathlon this summer. And Kenny Powers goes, yeah, dude, right on, man. I play real sports. I play baseball. I'm not trying to be the best exerciser. So, like I said at the beginning, I want to always surround myself. Like, if you're the smartest guy, the most athletic, the fastest, and the strongest in the room, find some new fucking friends.
That's right. Find people that are better.
I mean, it took many years and many learning moments hanging around with Burnsy and cultivating our friendship to understand the level of consistency, the pushing of the human body, the stacking of sessions. So it like I never had any distorted perception of reality that I was anywhere near him athletically. So and many times as friends, it's like, oh yeah, I played the Oakland A's and this and that. And then they go, oh, you played professional baseball too. And I go, no. Oh, did you play baseball? Yeah, I played in Colby, Kansas, 3 hours east of Denver in the Jayhawk Conference, little junior college. And then every time Burns would go, how'd that work out for you, man?
That's typical fucking Burns. He's just shooting his shot.
Petting his upper lipper.
It's like, yeah, it's like,
But what it did do over time was I learned what the guys at the top of the mountain, how they go about being intentional about the training and the other gear and the other level that is required, you know, because like everything, especially with sport, you get out what you put in. So,
everything in life.
Listen, here's what I'd say.
But like, it's not even discipline. There's like something else beyond the discipline of going about your business that like you and Burnsy have been doing. Mindset,
habits, rituals, routines, and I mean,
I know
you and then identifying your principles, your core principles, because as they say, dude, a boy lives off his preferences, a man lives off his principles. So, it took a lot of time, but with Burns and I, dude, I've beat Burns over 12 years in three things. I beat him one time in a shuffleboard match. I beat him in ping pong, and I beat him in basketball. He will no longer play me in basketball.
There's no way Burns is a basketball player.
When I beat Burns in table tennis, I remember it very clearly because it was just him and I. It's not like we were at a bar and hanging out. It wasn't that.
Was it just a one-game thing? Was it a one-game thing? He's like, fuck
we played
this.
A game.
I lost
him.
And I'm out.
I beat him, and he puts the paddle down. He walks across the table, and as he's passing me, he goes, "Fuck you." And I was like, oh. That's why you've achieved the athletic,
the status is.
That's why you got the kill or be killed mentality, and I don't think that I carried that spirit with me when it came to sport. And so the guy's on a completely another level.
Like, he's not a poor sport, though, right? Like, he's not a poor sport.
Man, it was all good fun. It was all good fun.
But in, like, seriousness, when he's saying fuck you, he's actually meaning it. Like, dude, I'm going to get you.
There was an element of
Yeah. But it's just like, oh, man, you got me one time, dude. And that's it.
But if you kick a guy's ass in every training session, in every race that you guys ever do, in everything, and you get beat in one game of ping pong, fuck, tip your cap. Hey, man, good for you. But no.
Not Bernie.
I was like, whoa, dude. So he's got that killer.
I mean, you must have felt great, though. You have to have felt great.
Felt amazing. It felt amazing. Now, when it comes to an athletic experience, the last Ironman that Burns and I did together was in Arizona. And I've got a lead on this guy the entire day. I mean, the marathon at Ironman's 26.2 miles. At mile 25, I'm ahead of Burns. And I'm like,
how far do you think? How many minutes?
I got him, right? I got him. I don't know. But I turned the corner, literally probably 1 mile, maybe a little less than 1 mile left. The guy
in the whole thing.
He just ran right past me in the last mile and
no fucking way.
And took the title. But what was cool was every time Burns has finished an Ironman, he's hoisted the Pat Tillman 42 jersey over his head. So what was really unique.
R.I.P. Tillman.
Yeah. And what was really unique about that was we actually, we weren't planning it, but he ended up like slowing down just enough for me to catch him at the finisher chute.
And watch him finish first.
In together.
No.
Selma and Louise style. We ran that fucking thing in together. So,
Wow. He threw his ego out the door to wait for you.
Stopped back and held the line and then we ran it in together. So, yeah, dude, it's
that's a memory to never forget.
Yeah, no, of course. And we share so many of those memories. And, he's like a brother to me. I love him dearly. We it's like one of those relationships where as soon as we get around each other, it's just right back into rhythm.
I mean, it's like you never left. And I got a couple friends just like that.
I think everybody thinks that it's probably easier to be friends with somebody who's going to go, yeah, man, it's all good. Just rest today. And
no, fuck that. I ain't that.
Really, what I've learned is it's much more challenging individually and as a person to surround yourself with a social circle that will hold you accountable and say, hey, man, how much more is possible? And take that rest day, but not today. And so it's been a beautiful relationship that has made my life better, and I hope that it's made his life better. And I know that our family's lives have been enriched by all these experiences and the examples that we're able to leave behind. Burns and I did a podcast for damn near 3 years on a daily basis called The Daily Hustle. He's now running it solo. He also does a show on No Filter called Deuces Wild with the great and powerful Will the Thrill fucking Clark.
Will the Thrill.
And I know that show's popping and hitting. I think they're top 5 on Apple podcasts. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, dude, it's I fucking love the Brosio Path.
I mean, it's a fucking journey.
Check them out at EBYRNES22 on the Instagram there on the interwebs.
On the IG. on the IG. I mean, he's posting every single day. I mean, my favorite part is opening his first post, and I think sometimes he's 6:05 a.m. doing his pickleball against the wall by himself. Pack, 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 pack. And then the next post 10 minutes later is him running through the snow, which is right now. I mean, he's probably playing in a pickleball tournament, hustling some guys. But I mean, I can't wait until me and you can play him.
Well, speaking of pickleball,
because I heard he got into pickleball big. Like when me and you were playing tennis, he was getting into pickleball. Yeah. And then we were thinking like, fuck pickleball. Yeah. Like tennis is where the real athlete is because like you're moving side to side, whereas pickleball you're standing in one spot, and you could just
dunking.
Yeah, dinking and dunking. But then but then the last time I see you, you're into pickleball, and like I'm wearing my tennis shirt. Look at this thing. Because I want to get so. Yeah, I mean, and then you broke my heart. Because I'm like, damn, now I gotta switch to pickleball, which I already had a paddle, but it has been broken out. Yeah. And now dude, when I leave, it's like, dude, you're back in tennis. So. I mean,
I've never left tennis. I think really what happened was Burns and I got connected, and it was like, dude, we need to recertify. People are saying Kowalski and Burns are getting fucking old. We need to go out. Yeah. We need to recertify. So Burns gets me all juiced up and says, look, why don't we attempt to break another Guinness World Record? This time we're going to set one. It's going to be the most pickleball games played in a 24-hour period. So we're shooting for 144 games sometime in April of this upcoming year. The only challenge is, yes, I bought
what do you play to though?
Paddle. I bought a wooden Fila pickle paddle, and I've used it maybe 3 times. I'm still obsessed with tennis, and I do play tennis maybe 2-3 times a week. But every time I send a picture of me on the tennis courts,
I know who are you playing with. I mean, I'm not getting these pictures anymore because it used to be just me and you.
Again, like I'm not a big public announcement guy. I have friends, not fans. And I think a lot of times people want to make public announcements because they're tied to this fan response. Man, because it must feel good for people to say, hey, you're fucking killing it. I'm inspired by X. And I'm sure that there is a dopamine hit that is injected into you. And that becomes part of your motivation and reason to go out and do it so you can show, hey, here's what I'm doing. And I think the guys inspired a ton of people through it. And people go, how many more, at footboard pictures do I need to see from Eric? And it's like, look, dude, it's not about the fucking footboard. It's the fact that he's been posting the same fucking thing for 10 years. He's trying to show you that
the footboard works.
Consistency always enlarges ability and opportunity. That's
Absolutely.
The message Burns his disgusting gargoyle feet on the Instagram every day. To show
he's got claws.
Through my gargoyle feet, I'm trying to tell everyone that consistency will enlarge your ability and opportunity. So for me, I've
a daily routine.
I think it's awesome. Yes, daily routines, habits, and rituals.
AM, PM routines. Brian Kane. Thanks to you, my man.
Yep.
I mean,
Brian
I got the book.
The 10 Pillars of Mental Performance Mastery. Helping
Everyone
you
needs
close
to read
the gap.
this. Everyone needs to read this.
Absolutely.
I read about 100 pages on the plane.
From where you want to be, utilizing the 10 Pillars of Mental Performance Mastery. Brian Kane.
Are you certified?
Dear friend, yes, I'm a Mental Performance Mastery certified coach.
And you're my mentor.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing to cultivate a deeper connection with Brian Kane, and I think he's the best in the business. If anybody out there is looking to work on the mental game, BrianKane.com, Brian Kane Peak Performance. He also has a podcast he does on Apple iTunes. It's called
Spotify as well, right? Because everyone's on Spotify. I mean, like it's a whole debate on Apple, Spotify, but
all the major platforms he's there. He has a long form podcast as well, where he dives deeper into mental performance mastery, and he has a lot of athletes that he works with, whether it be UFC, whether it be MLB, whether it be from the business sector, that go on and utilize his strategies and principles to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. So yeah, the mental game, and Brian Kane has had a gigantic impact on my life. And yeah, that starts really with bookending your day with an AM and PM routine. I mean, it's like if you can win the morning, essentially you can have a much better opportunity to win the rest of the day.
Facts. Like,
Yeah.
so then what is your like daily routine? Because I had the opportunity to like stay with you like a week at a time, you know, and we'd go and play tennis, but like you always had your routine. Like I'd still be sleeping at around 6 and you're up at like what, 4:35? What is that?
Club.
What are you doing? What are you doing with the Breakfast Club?
Yeah, so
because I hated the fact that you would wake up before me because I wanted to be part of that, but it's just what it was, you know, because I was learning.
And then sometimes too, when you know, and I'm sure we'll dive into it, but you know, Breland, you were coming off a really intense experience. You were coming off, you know, for me personally, I was in Banana Land for a few months, and reintegrating back into the real world was like, holy shit. I felt, you know, and I'm not minimizing this or making light of it, but I felt like what it must feel like to come out of like, you know, Fallujah and be back at like your kid's, you know, third birthday party a week after you were in battle. And it was a real, I had to really, but it was so pivotal. When I came back from Banana Land, I had been working a career in business development and sales for a specialty pharmacy company in healthcare. When I came back, I had realized something, and I think it's probably pretty pertinent for a lot of people out there right now, especially post-COVID. I had thought that for 13 years, this is my mountain. Business development, sales, healthcare. I'm going to do this for the rest of my career. Well, coming back from oh, little baby.
Oh yeah, that's my niece. That's my niece Kyle.
I love that.
She's 1, and we have a big birthday luau. Luau means party. Her first birthday luau. She actually turned 1 in November, what, 10th? November 10th. So
well, a big beautiful happy birthday and a maliki liki maka to this beautiful
that's right,
Nova.
Meliki maka to everyone out there.
Indeed.
So we got a big luau if anyone wants to come by. It's at a pool place out in the beautiful countryside of Hawaii Kai. Come on by. We got beers flowing, Hawaiian food if you've never tried it. Yep. Kulo pig, lau, lomi
salmon with the rice.
Salmon with the rice, that's right, because we sing all day.
And we sing all night because they do it island style.
Uncle John Cruz, that's right. That's right, bro.
And maybe Johnny Cruz, because, dude, I know you have tens of 20s of listeners after your second show. Maybe Johnny Cruz gets wind of this and he shows up, you know, to the kids' bash. And
man,
the island style dedication.
The spirit of John Cruz lives forever here.
The spirit of John Cruz. So, yeah, AM, PM routines. I'm up. What you don't know now, what I've added to the backyard here at the casita down in the flatlands of Arizona, is I now have the portable red light sauna.
No, the one that Drake has?
I have the one that Drake has now.
Is it the same one where you go and sit in and it's a red light, but like you can also stick your head out?
Correct. Yep.
Dude.
I've got the port. And by the way, for those of you who don't know Dr. Sean Drake, he's
shout out to Dr. Sean Drake
currently.
And you are at his office currently, right? Athlete Empowered.
We're
out
at
in Scottsdale, Arizona.
We're at Athlete Empowered here at Scottsdale, Arizona, 3201 North Hayden Road here in Scottsdale, Arizona. For any athletes out there, for any ball players, for any rotational athletes, Dr. Sean Drake, real quickly, is
true healer.
He's a kinetic chain expert. He specializes in movement, mobility, recovery, and cell health. 80% of our
biohacking the human.
Yeah, I think there is biohacking is a term that I'm more the guy who's like, hey, you want to get fast? Fucking run sprints up a hill. I don't overthink it. I want to go old school. Yeah, I want to go old school.
Hill sprints.
I don't think
sprint in the sand.
Yeah, exactly. Sprint in the sand. My kid the other day goes, Dad, I want to work on my running. I said, cool. Like what? You want to get faster?
Good old
He goes, yeah. And I go, cool, man. Grab my hand, right? I grab Elijah's hand and I just sprint. I take off. And then so he has to force himself to keep up.
Right.
And he looks at me when we get to the other side of the tennis court.
He's probably like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's like, oh. And I go, dude, That's how you get faster. Tell any friend that's faster than you, grab my hand and tell them to take off running as fast as you can. It's going to force you into another gear. And so, you know, and then it's like Corbin Carroll. Developed a little relationship with Corbin over the.
What an athlete!
How do you get faster?
D-back stud.
Play tag.
Yes, dude. Old school, elementary style.
Play tag.
Play tag.
What are we doing? Play tag.
Go chase your friends around.
Grab the hand. I told Elijah, anybody faster than you at school, tell them grab your hand and let's run somewhere, and then you will get faster. So I think sometimes
because you have to keep up.
We got you know, and I don't want to project, but we got a lot of junk floating around in our heads. Sometimes we need to, you know, it reminds me of something I read the other day where reason is asking love, what are you? And love says, I am God. And I think a lot of times we try to over reason. We try to analyze everything. Well, I better develop.
And we try to justify it.
Yeah, well, this is my plan to get faster. I'm going to do super sprints on this set. Maybe you should just go out and fucking play tag. Maybe you should go out and run up the hill as fast as you can. Like, you know, people go, well, I'm going to hire a nutritionist and I'm going to start. And I'm like, I don't like, what should I do? And I go, I'm not going to tell you to stop eating anything. But here's what I will tell you. Every day, wake up, eat the apple, walk around the block.
Grounding, you know, going ground.
So to speak. So back to the AM PM routine. To start the day, I get up, it's dark out. I go outside, I click the sauna on to 170. In about 9 minutes, that thing's fully jacked, red light, it's ready to go. But Dr. Sean Drake, 80% of our people here, Major League Baseball, he's also the director of optimal health for a company called Therasage, who makes some of the finest portable red light saunas and also portable
and cold plunges.
Units.
I'm gonna need to talk to him about that because I need some of that.
Yep. So we can get you dialed in with that too. Anybody wants more information on our practice here in Old Town Scottsdale, or wants to know more about our red light saunas, our portable cold tanks, our PEMF red light mats, we got it all. 602-810-6664. I'm happy
athlete empowered.
Steer anybody in the right direction. Yeah. So first thing, Breland, I'm up. I like Breakfast Club at 4:45. A lot of people think that Breakfast Club is the movie. It's not.
No. This is the true Breakfast
Club. Actually came from the Cocaine Bulls of the late 90s. Now, what was happening was these guys were getting after it, and Michael Jordan said, enough is enough. I'm going to start a breakfast club with a core group of guys on this team and get them all in the gym at 4:45 in the morning, and Jordan called it Breakfast Club.
So, shit. So that's where
really
Kobe got his, because I remember watching a Kobe documentary, and that's where he started doing,
Yep.
Putting two and two together.
To speak to that, Kobe, I remember with the Dream Team, all these guys were in Spain or wherever, and they're coming into the hotel at 4:30 from partying all
It might have
night.
been Vegas. It actually might have been Vegas.
And Kobe is in the lobby, walking the other direction, fully kitted. And they're like, Kobe, what are you doing? He goes,
going to the gym.
What the fuck are you guys doing? I'm going to train. So, you know, that's that Breakfast Club mentality.
That's how you win.
And also how you win, if you want extra time, get up an hour earlier and start your day. And most people go, fuck, it's hard to crack out of your warm bed in the winter. But man, we're not made to sit in a warm bed. We're made to get up, get grounded. So after I'm up, I click the sauna on, I go to the coffee, I click the coffee on. Heavy cream. I put heavy cream.
But the Lairds, are you still doing Lairds?
I'm not doing Lairds at the moment, but I love Laird's Superfood Creamer. It's fantastic.
Yes, because that's what I just got right here.
I'm doing about 2 fingers of heavy cream. Then I put that in the microwave for about 40 seconds. And once I got that heavy cream bubbling, I hit it with the mixer stick. You know.
So you're not doing the Vitamix blender. There you go.
Nope. Because what happened was it's so early, I didn't want to wake the whole house up.
That's right. You still got to be respectful too.
So then I'm whipping it, and I'm getting a nice foam in there. Then I drop a little bit of honey down the center. I give it an extra whip. and then I give a little sliver of Kerrygold grass-fed Irish butter, and then boom. Then the coffee's on, going down in there. So then I got my nice cup. I take the cup, walk over to the footboard, stand on the footboard, listen to my devotional by Uncle Angus. If you
Uncle
don't know,
Angus.
if you don't know
Download
Angus
the app.
Buchan, he has a thought of the day that's based on scripture that you can check out at angusbuchan.com. I do that 2-minute scripture. I send it out to my loved ones who.
This is what the app looks like right there.
He's got an app right there.
Brown app. Boom.
And he's great. He's from South Africa, and he's got an amazing story. And every day he puts out a thought of the day based on biblical scripture with a little story behind it. So I do that. As soon as I'm done with that, I head outside into the cold tank. 2 minutes. Boom. Full set an intention. I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I'm looking into the dark waters of the cold tank, and I go, okay. And so we set an intention. When we do that, a lot of people like to say, like, you know what, I just don't want to fear the cold anymore.
No.
And that's okay. But we want to restate it to say, you know.
Like you want to be a state of being.
Right. We want to restate it to sound more empowering, to sound more like, you know, I've proven that I can do hard things. What I start, I finish, because I'm committed and persistent. You know, these are, because words are the things that we use to weave our life experience together. So the more that we can develop our vocabulary and our ability to articulate what we're thinking, then the better that we can, you know, have a better life. It's like, if you want a better life, ask and answer better questions to yourself and to others. So into the tank, out of the tank at that point.
How cold is this tank? Real quick.
I keep the tank under 40. So
I want to say like 37 was the last time that I seen it.
My tank is set at 37. Right. It sits around 37 to 39 most of the time. Now, a lot of people go like, why do you set it so low? And that's a great question, because a lot of our ball players that come in here go, yeah, we got a cold tank at the facility. And I go, yeah, but it's set at it's set at 52 degrees. And they go, yeah, that's right. And so a lot of people go, oh, well, it's not that cold. I don't give a shit. I think if anybody gets in the cold water.
Cold is cold.
It's awesome. Good for you. Do it. But above the 50-degree mark, you're looking at more physical benefits: joints, ligaments, tendons, inflammation, soreness. When you go below 40, you're now creating a cellular response.
Intracellular, going deep within.
Yes. And so that's the critical component of not, you know, a lot of people want to sit right here in the tank. You got to get that water, guys, up above
touching your chin. Get it touching your chin.
The vagus nerve. You got to get it touching on that vagus nerve so you can feel that body brain stem connection. And there's some sort of activation that goes down. And I'm not here to Andrew Huberman people, because that's not me. But what I'm saying is, it's like a fucking life shower, and I feel great. So I think that's something everyone can understand. So out of the cold tank, enter like a king.
Chest up, shoulders back.
I'm 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I restate my intention. Yes, I do hard things. I love doing hard things, because what I start, I finish, and I'm committed and persistent. Then from there, after the restate, into the grass, bare feet, grounding. Okay, about 1 minute. Off the grounding, into the red light sauna. Sitting all the way in, full submersion, man in the box. I'm man in the box all the way down, just enough to get that real deep cold off me. Then I'm into the house. Back into the house, now I'm doing daily stoic. I got the daily dad and the daily stoic. I listen to both. For any parents out there, it's called the daily dad. It should be called the daily parent. These are life lessons about leadership and being a parent. Is this
an app?
No, this is, you can go for free to Ryan Holiday. He has the dailystoic.com, also the dailydad.com.
But it should be the
both
daily
have
parent.
Been amazing. It's also where I got my Memento Mori medallion.
Oh, that's a new one. I haven't seen that one yet.
That's a new one. I got that March of 2020. Right when the pandemic hit, I got my medallions. I started wearing them, because if anybody's wondering what Memento Mori is, essentially it's the Greek philosophy of you could leave life right now. And that's where the skull, the hourglass, and the tulip come in. So the hourglass representing the very finite amount of time that we have here.
We all have limited time.
Correct. And then the flower representing the tulip representing the sweetness of life. And then of course the skull representing death. And for me, a lot of people go, ooh, I don't want to talk about death. But it's like, dude, death is the
inevitable
greatest invention of life. Without death, you go, hey, Kowalski, you want to do a podcast? I go, you know what, Braylon? Nah, man, let's do it in 1,000 years.
Like, what the fuck?
It puts the sense of urgency behind everything. Nothing is guaranteed. By no fault of my own, I could be driving home today in the flatlands on the 6-lane highways. Boom, that's it for me. So I think death for me has been a great gift, to look at death in the way of man, I better really be intentional. I better think strategically and act tactically about my life at all times, because nothing's guaranteed. So
absolutely,
right. It feels a little corny to say,
no.
Man, nothing's guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised. But really, but I know it might sound a little evangelical for me, but that's really what I believe. And so that takes care of that. In the sauna, back in, daily dad, daily stoic. Then I read 10 pages out of a book. Right now I'm reading a book called The Second Mountain. I'm also reading a devotional prayer book. And
you told me The Second Mountain, because there is a book called The First Mountain too, right? Or
I don't know about that, but I know The Second
Or
Mountain.
maybe you were just coaching me on there's a first mountain and then there's a second mountain behind that.
Yeah, and the idea behind this book, and it's been really pivotal for me to set the foundation for my day as I climb the second mountain of my life. But, this predisposes, if you're climbing a mountain, at one point, you had to spend some time in the valley. Yeah. And a lot of people just want to be on top of the mountain. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift the fucking weights. That's
right. Ronnie Coleman.
Yep, that's right. Ain't nothing but a peanut. Lightweight, baby.
Hey.
So, yeah, back in 10 pages in the book, and it's essentially the idea of the second mountain it's the difference between a missionary and a mercenary. And they're both going to get to the same place, but how they get there is a lot different. And so before, maybe I was more mercenary. Now I'm more missionary.
Mission-based.
Yes, it had a huge impact on me. So I do that, and then now I'm training. Now it could be a swim, a bike, a run. I could be going to MDE Athletics out here with the great Marcos Esquivel.
Marcos, shout out Marcos.
MDE. Shout out Marcos. He's the fucking man.
Out in Gilbert, right? Or is he like
kind
of on the cusp, right? He's on the cutoff.
Yeah. I mean, cities out here are separated sometimes by 10 or 15 minutes. So Chandler,
that motherfucker got some beast in there too. He got beast in there.
If anybody's looking for a place to get a great strength and conditioning workout, movement, mobility,
it's a family too. Like it's a family too.
Yeah. I call it the Jay-Z of training, because everything is off the top. Nothing is written down. I'm like, I want to accomplish this today. He'll say, boom, do this, and this. And so the guy's dialed in. Marcos Esquivel, M as in Mary, D as in dog, E as in Edward, Athletics, MDE Athletics. But yeah, I might go there. They call me Timmy Turf over there because I never leave the turf. I do is mobility, movement. So I go through that program, and if I'm not doing that,
actually, you're warming up on the bike usually. Yeah.
You what?
I said actually, you're warming up on the bike, and then you're hitting Timmy Turf.
Well, yeah. I mean, the protocol for me is I'll do 5 minutes on the assault bike, and then I try to keep it over 300 watts, just to really activate everything. Get a little heat going in me, and then I'll start, with some inchworms. I'll go to the world's greatest stretch. If everybody knows the world's greatest stretch, I love that move. Then I'll go to some bear crawls. I'll go to, some single leg deadlifts. So I just go through all that. If I'm not doing any of that, I'm playing tennis. Preferably, I'm done with all of it by 8 o'clock. At that point, I'm gearing up and getting ready to now make my transition, to work life. And so that essentially is my AM routine, and then I also have a PM routine as well. But to just one more thing, I don't want to forget to mention when it comes to the urgency of life and the finite amount of time that we have, there is something called life in weeks that I found, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And I remember when I found it, I thought it was the greatest thing that I'd ever seen, because essentially it'll tell you how many weeks you've lived. And God willing, for me, if I live to be 90, at this point, I'm 43 years old. I have 2,440 weeks left. So I remember when I had this, and it gives you an entire chart. It's your life in weeks. You put in your birth date, boom, it populates this chart. And in red squares, it tells you how many weeks you've lived. And then the unfilled white squares are how many weeks you have left. Now, are
you filling out like what you're doing daily kind of thing? So it like calculates everything? No.
It just plugs in a red square. Dots the red square. Because a lot of people are like, hey, man, I got to win the day. I got to win the day. Maybe, but you can have a fucked up Monday or a fucked up Wednesday or whatever. And then are you going to allow that one day to fuck the whole week up? No.
Right. You have 86,400 seconds every day. How are you going to invest in that day?
And we have 168 hours a week. So instead of looking at the day, I started looking at the week. So when I found this and I brought it to Alyssa, my wife, and I said, you're not going to believe this. This is fucking incredible. Check this out. My life in weeks. This is what I got left. 2,400, whatever.
That's crazy.
And she goes, this is disgusting.
That's typical Alyssa.
I was like, what?
She doesn't want to see that shit.
You don't get this? You don't get how incredible this is? So not everybody sees it in such a positive way. But for me, it's
she should do hers. She should do hers and see.
Oh, I have
what the difference. Which one's living longer?
I show her. No, well, we both predispose that we will live till 90.
Same. Okay, well, that's awesome.
But with advances in modern medicine and, the potential for my income to quadruple over the next couple of years, it's not far to say that I'm going to hit 130 or 140. And that is totally change the trajectory of life in weeks.
And I'll be right there with you.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, you're a lot younger too, so hopefully you do outlive me, dude.
10 years. I don't know, man. I hope you're 143 and I'm 133.
So I want to quickly, because I think this is such a powerful, powerful tool that everybody should be trying to utilize. I just want to quickly display what I'm talking about here. Okay, so this is my life in weeks calendar. Here we go. You see that?
So is this a website or is this an app?
You can go to lifeinweeks.com, and then it'll populate at brianbraun.com. And he has the very easy to use. Now you see that's what I got left.
This is your fucking life. That's it.
That's my life in weeks. Now
you're going to die in however many.
You want to take it another level? Watch this. Not do we just do life in weeks. Let's do it in years.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wait. So the white is what you got left?
White is what I have left, Breland.
And there's no more scrolling. That's it.
Buddy, that's it.
That doesn't look like much.
Correct. And so
it doesn't
uh-oh. And so now we start to quantify, right? Because we can't manage what we don't measure. So now I've tried to look at more quantitative analysis around my life. What on a scale of 1 to 10, if I had a fucking awesome day, let me look back on these quantitative scores that are attached to my day and let me see where the opportunities are to repeat, because success leaves clues. Where can I repeat it, and what areas if I had a 5 on a day, why? What happened?
Learn from it. Adjust.
So life in weeks has been a really powerful thing that I've looked at every day to remind me of the finite amount of time that we have. And it just sets me up for the rest of the day, dude.
So is everyone different though? Because it obviously isn't taking into account your AM, PM routines, recovery, nutrition, the people that you hang out with. Like obviously, so do you think you might have even more years?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this.
Like you said, 130, 140. I mean, that's what we're aiming for.
100%.
I mean, in the Bible, people were living hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't we?
And there's no doubt in my mind that this is a temporary place for us to have a human experience. In the Lord's Prayer, he says, on earth as it is in heaven. And for me, I have had experiences in my life that have convinced me without a shadow of a doubt that heaven is real. There are other dimensions of this experience here that we cannot access with our limited human senses. We can only see a certain um, level of light. There's light bouncing around all over the room. We just can't see it with our limited.
I mean, it's energy.
We have a certain decibel range that we can hear. So there's limited senses that we utilize, which means that there's other dimensions. I mean, in an interstellar kind of way, that maybe we just don't have the technology, the quantum computing, the string theory. We just don't know how to access these other levels of understanding. And so for me, I am convinced, without a shadow of a doubt, there is another portal that we are able to go on to when life on Earth comes to completion. And I think what's the harm in believing that? It's a win-win. If you're in life thinking, man, this is a test, and if I pass, I get to go on to a place where self no longer exists, where I become one consciousness with everything everywhere all at once, with the Holy Spirit of God beaming a white light right through the middle, and I get to live in infinite existence, feeling that way. And so for me, dude, I'm
Why
like,
not?
why not? Why not?
Why the fuck not?
And so my faith is a huge part, and especially been such a people used to say to me, what's your personal relationship with Jesus? And I'm like, oh God, fuck, man, it keeps me getting the willies. And then one day my father-in-law asked it to me, but I think when the student's ready, the teacher appears. And I remember thinking to myself, holy shit, what's my personal relationship with my wife? What's my personal relationship with my sport? What's my personal relationship with my kids? What's my personal relationship with my father? So I it's like, Breland, you've heard this. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. So, it's been an amazing journey of growth and discovery. And I think, for me, if you want to be the like everybody wants to be the master, but nobody's willing to look like the fool,
Yep.
And I think for me, I want to,
We're scared.
I want
scared
to
to
be,
fail.
I want to be a humble, hungry, and smart person. And I want to surround myself with humble, hungry, and smart people. Yes, because, people want to hang around others that are like them, or others who they aspire to be like. So, when you talk about like friendships and social circles, I'm a different person with Eric Burns than I am maybe with a friend that's not vibrating on that kind of frequency. So energy givers and energy takers. And for me, that has been a really,
I'm a big giver.
A really huge part of my life is like helping me to look through the lens more of, hey, look to understand. Don't look to be understood. Look to give grace. Don't look to get grace. Look to love others. Don't look to get love. So that has been such a.
How can you be of service? That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, and then when it comes to humble, hungry, and smart, you want to be in that order, because if somebody is humble, but they're not that hungry and not that smart, now you got somebody with an attitude of indifference. Oh, hey man, I want to be around people that have strong feelings about anything. Hey, if somebody's like, and it may be misguided, but they're like, you know what? I know everything about World War II planes, and it just fires them up. And they come alive about World War II planes. Hey man, back in World War II, they had, the aeronautical engineering, and they just go off.
Right.
I like people with strong feelings, and I want to. But if you're around somebody who's coming back to humble, hungry, smart, if they're really smart and they're hungry but they're not humble, now all of a sudden you're an asshole, and nobody wants to be around you. So that's why the syntax of those three things matter: humble, hungry,
smart.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hey, before we go, I was always intrigued how you're such an amazing father that you always have these phrases for your son and your daughter.
Yeah.
All right. Go through them.
Yeah. Dude, I think oftentimes as fathers, and people are busy. People got a lot going on, and there's a lot of distractions. And sometimes and I'm sure any father or parent out there can relate, you're gone before the kids are up. You get home, and
the kids are going to bed,
dark out,
kind of thing.
And all of a sudden, you've got 90 minutes to spend with them before they're in the rack. So for me, especially if you have an AM routine and you are hitting breakfast club and you're out getting sessions, you may miss all the morning time, family rituals that are happening. So for me, when I see my kids in the morning, not only do I put the JBL Bluetooth mega handle speaker on,
it's going,
and I start playing Angus, and then after that, I'll
bumping.
play a song. Now the kids are up. Now they're coming out and doing their own AM routine, making the bed to the best of their ability, brushing their teeth without being asked, being dressed without being asked. And now it's like, Elijah, Emma, good morning. How'd you sleep? Well, I slept good, Dad. Great. Well, today, and then every morning, it's some version of, hey, what are the only two things we can control? And they say our attitude and effort. And I say, stand up straight with your chest up. And they say, and shoulders back. And then I'll say, you're feeling good. And they say, looking good. And I say, you should be in. And they say, Hollywood. And then, or it might be like, Emma, Elijah, you guys are confident? And they'll say, we're cocky. And I'll say, you're the next. And they'll say, Rocky.
Yes. So, yes, that's a new one for me, actually.
I think these mantras and these ethos, it just...
Oh, they are ready for every single day.
So I think that is certainly a part of the AM routine. I'm glad you brought it up because
that's a must because I was part of that. And that was so cool. And I'm still struggling to memorize it, But it's because I'm just not connecting and I need to connect more.
Yep. And cultivating connection is a huge part of it. Pick up the phone, reach out to friends. And whenever I've done that, I've always left on the other side of that reach out and that connection, feeling more whole, feeling like I'm not so alone in my own struggles. And so I think that's a huge part of it.
Because everyone's struggling. We can all relate.
Everybody has their own dark nights of the soul. And even people who you go, oh, easy for them. It ain't.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't. No. But people have developed techniques, habits, routines, rituals that create happiness. I remember reading a book by a guy named Dennis Prager. It's called Happiness is a Serious Problem. And it's really the idea of happiness doesn't come easy for those people who you think are happy. They're getting up early. They're creating routines, habits, rituals. They have found a way to create as much integration in their life as possible to create a whole, self-actualized life where, people have hope. A lot of people don't have hope, and hope is the key ingredient of what gives your life meaning. And for those of you wondering what hope is, it's hold on, possibilities exist. And when it comes to cultivating connection, it also means hearing other people's experiences. So now we have two analogies around hope that we go, oh, okay. So I think cultivating a connection with others allows you to feel that hope in a new way. And, people go, wow, the world's so fucked up. What do we do? And it's like, you start having a conversation like this with a friend. You start reaching out and trying to, put good things out into the world. There's so much fucking nonsense out there. And I see it every day. The internal rot of doom scrolling through your phone and the internal rot that people feel.
It's poison. My dad, when I was growing up, would call the TV the idiot box.
Yeah, and my grandfather used to call it the one-eyed monster.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? What are you doing there, boy? Watching the old one-eyed monster?
I mean, it comes alive with the antennas, you know, like back in the day that people don't even know about. You know, you had 12 channels on a knob. You had 2 antennas. It was about 500 pounds.
Yep.
And you just had media just trying to control and make a system.
So I think it's now more than ever with all the bots and all the, you know, tomfoolery that's happening on the interwebs.
Get outside and connect.
We have to really, really, really stand guard at the door of our mind and protect the ingredients that go in that make up our day. So, yeah, dude. For me personally, like, you know, you asking me, acting on inspired thought. You took, and I'm sure we'll have many more of these podcasts together.
Yeah, we will.
You took a very traumatic experience,
which everyone can know from the previous podcast. Basically, I was let go from the party animals.
What you did is you came off your mountain, went into the valley, and now you're starting to crawl up the next mountain.
Yeah.
And so, you know, anybody, anywhere can relate to going back into the valley and climbing up the mountain. So I think that in such a divisive culture, that we have so much more in common than we do different. And I think
people just want to be heard. That's it.
Yep. And you're right, dude. Because for me, any response anywhere is one of two things. It's either a loving response or a cry for help. And when I started using that with my own relationship with my wife, I just started going, you know what? This sounds like a cry for help. How can I help? I'm here for you. And that changed the whole dynamic of, you know, going down this road. It's like oftentimes we're driving and it's like, hey, the road ends, there's a cliff, get off the exit. We don't decide to take the exit. We just keep barreling towards the cliff, dude. You know? And trust me, like, you don't want to fly off the cliff with all the pieces of an airplane and have to assemble it before you hit the canyon floor. That's not a good plan. So take the exit.
That's chaos.
Because you got to get off to get
reset.
off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can reset,
recalibrate, re-engage, and get back in the fight. And so whenever there's a story like yours, or everybody shares these, you know, stories of climbing up the next mountain. And so for me, dude, I think this podcast, that you're the Silent Hawaiian Pod on the world's most powerful live streaming interactive event podcasting platform, No Filter Network, is the start in the continuation of you going through the valley and up your second mountain. And I'm honored, and it's a privilege to share the fellowship with you, Breland.
No, man, it's an honor, Kowalski. I mean, I've only known you, a year and a half, maybe March 2023? No, 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, we've gone through a lot. I mean, and the next time I have you on, you know, we're going to talk about, you know, the Templeton.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a big one. That's a big one. I also want to be there for the world record pickleball, you know. If I'm available, I might be in Czech Republic playing some ball. So
cool.
We'll see. You know, we got opportunities coming in 2024. But man, from the shores of Waianae and the valleys of the Ko'olaus to the desert oasis of Phoenix, where my man Kowalski's at, dude, it's been an honor. Can't thank you enough. I love you too, and I'll see you next time. You know, I'm hitting you up the next time I'm in AZ. I'll bring the pickle.
Oh, no doubt.
You bring the ball.
No doubt.
And then we'll play some tennis ball, though. So
Keep believing. Man. Keep believing, because the best is yet to come, dude.
Love you, dude. Hello, everyone. Shoots. Much love.